As we have a Democratic president, I'm sure if we had a Republican president, things might be perceived a little differently. But if they take it to the Supreme Court's already ruled on it. Twice, in fact.
Yeah, but that's not the whole issue. There's ways that the Congress, if they could ever get enough of a majority, they can make changes in the Constitution.
Well, I don't know. You can overturn a veto. I don't know if you could overturn an amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah, you can change it.
But I'll defer to you.
And
Rev.
also, you could limit the authority that the Supreme
Well, they could.
The Supreme Court judges have.
They'll never do that.
I didn't say they will or they won't. I just said what they could do.
But on a very dour note, I guess many of you have heard what happened in France. The beheadings and
trying to blow up
murders and it's just I can't even talk about it.
As you know, in France they try to blow up an American plant. I don't know the name of the company, but the one of the bosses, his head was decapitated, and his head was hung up on a fence on the entrance of the plant. And then Kuwait, a mosque was blown up. I think, probably 30 people or so got killed. And ISIS took credit for that.
ISIS blew up a mosque?
Yep.
Why?
Because it was a, what do you call it? It wasn't a Shiite mosque. It was a...
Sunni?
No, it was a Shiite, not a Sunni. ISIS is Sunni. You got to remember, this is still a civil war. It's a religious war. It's everything in that area. So they blew up the mosque. They killed a whole bunch of people on the beaches of what's the name of that country? What did I say it was? Liberia? I don't remember. Not Liberia. Maybe it was Liberia. I don't know. It's one of the countries that's a lot of European tourists go to. I don't remember what the name is. I'm not sure if it's Liberia. And they shut up maybe another 30 people there. So it looks like plenty of things going on. Plenty of murders.
Well, in a way, that does lead us. It's a good segue into part of our topic, which is, if, as it says in the Bible, if you believe in creationism, that God made man in his image, God must really be real unhappy. How would God explain man's inhumanity to man? Everything that we've discussed so far today has been an example of man's inhumanity to man.
That's true.
Sunni killing Shia and vice versa, simply because they're of the same religion. It's
like Protestants killing Catholics. Same basic religion.
Well, that goes that goes all the way back to the time of Martin Luther and the Reformation.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in modern days, it's the same type of a thing.
It's like you don't hear of Orthodox Jews and conservative Jews and Reform Jews killing each other. They have their differences.
And we all do.
I don't know. What does that mean?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to again welcome everybody on Spreaker and on Blog Talk Radio, and remind everybody.
Look at that! I didn't know you could
remind
do that.
everybody. I can't. That's a figment of my imagination. We are simulcasting right now and remind everybody we are an iHeart station. So you can listen to us at iHeart. We're also represent.
We're on iTunes.
We're on iTunes. We also represent iPluggers.
We're also on the IRS, aren't we?
No,
They can
we don't
contact the
talk about
IRS
that.
and listen to us
Well, no, that's enough.
from
money.
their jail cell, right?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
We've got iPluggers who are we represent now, and we have the good fortune of being able to play and represent blooming artists, people who've been around and maybe trying to do it on their own if they were maybe a group before, and we're doing a little bit of that. So there's a lot going on here.
And we would like to hear from you, if not to comment on some of the current events of the day in the world, then certainly let's discuss, it makes no difference whether you're an evolutionist or believe in creationism. Man's inhumanity to man. In the blurb that I typed up, I said that man is the only animal who kills for sport.
Well, that's true.
The one good thing that man does is wage war against his fellow man. We do a great job of killing each other off.
But gee, if we have to kill a dog, everybody feels so bad. Not that they shouldn't.
Well, and it's not only that. I mean, if you work in a big city and you take mass transit, how many times have you walked over a homeless person, lying on a folded cardboard box, because that's where they sleep, and you don't give it a second thought, but you see a dog limping, and right away your heart goes out to that poor animal, which I could understand, but let us not forget that you don't know the circumstances behind why that man or woman is homeless and why they're living on the street. I'm sure that there's a good story there.
A lot of times there is, and sometimes, listen, most people don't want to be on the street, I'm sure. Some of them would rather be on the street than in a shelter.
In a shelter, exactly. In the wintertime,
with the changes
you hear all kinds of stories about homeless people wanting to be in their tent down that alley rather than be in a shelter, because in a shelter they get ripped off. People are always stealing the few possessions that the homeless people have. When those people leave the shelter during the day for whatever reason, they have to take everything with them, because if they return by the end of the day or in a couple of hours, there's nothing left.
That is true. And it's not that they have much, but whatever it is they have to them is valuable, But weren't we also going to talk about creationists as compared to evolutionists?
Well, I think you said you believed in, what did you say last time? Like 50-50?
I believe that in evolution, but I think the person that started everything was the Big Bang, probably was God. I cannot believe Genesis and Adam and Eve and a serpent and apples. I'm sorry, it's a good story, but
Well, if you believe in the Big Bang, I guess hundreds of thousands of years after the Big Bang, I guess eventually we come to Adam and Eve in whatever you would want to call the Garden of Eden. As I told you earlier, Rev, I watched the show yesterday on public broadcasting, and they discussed that it's long been proven that modern man originated in Africa, and what they did was they tested African DNA to prove that. But what they also did was take European men and women, tested their DNA, and found that European men and women are descended from Neanderthal man. And what happened was, at some point, scientists have learned that originally they thought that the species could not mate. But they said at some point in evolution, Neanderthal man merged and got together with the modern man from Africa, and that's how we came about. So we are actually, while we appear to be white, we're a little bit of everything.
I'm sure we are.
And I think
that goes the same way for Adam and Eve. We all came from the same Adam and Eve. They were all a little bit of everything anyway.
In the Bible it assumes Adam and Eve were white. How do you know that Adam wasn't a black man and Eve wasn't a white woman?
Or vice versa.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to, so...
Well, why don't you call us with your comments at 646-595-3275. We'd love to hear from you, even if you disagree with us. I mean, the Rev and I disagree all the time, constantly.
No, we don't.
Sometimes to the point of, I guess the old expression is fisticuffs. But, we would like to hear from you, hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
We value your opinion. And check the chat room, because the chat room might be open.
It is.
If you are embarrassed about hearing your voice on the radio, so to speak, you may want to type in your question.
Absolutely. And well, let me just think over here. We're going to go and do a little plug-in today for some people from iPluggers and promote a little bit of their music. What do you think of that, Doc?
I think that sounds great.
All right, let's just see what we have here.
Gives people a chance to decide whether or not they want to call in.
Yeah.
See, where'd you get that list? I can't generate a list like that.
That's
I don't
all right.
know.
I haven't gotten. I can't get in there. Generate a list. Okay. So if we go to, let's see, home. Where'd you get genres from? Genres.
Excuse me?
I can't get what I need. Am I not
I
plugged
feel
in?
we should inform our listeners that you now have the 22nd century of Windows 15.1. You're way ahead of everybody.
We're ahead of everybody, exactly.
Most people are using Windows 7.1 or 8.1. The Rev has he's got the inside track here. Windows 15.1.
And let me tell you, it's like going back to Windows 98. Same difference. This is very strange. But I can't log into it. Do you remember what the login was? Don't say it out loud.
Yeah. You mean your password?
The login.
Yeah.
Well, because it doesn't seem to be working for me. Just want to make sure we got it